Hello, and welcome to Every Day is Funny, the meditative morning show about newspaper comics. We're getting near the end of what I'm calling the religious tenor, my 10 days of trying to turn EDF into a religion. And I guess also my efforts to try and make tenor a term for a span of 10 days. We have week, we have fortnight, we got no term for 10 days. So I guess this is kind of like a double crusade now. I'm not sure which one's more important. We'll say the church thing is. And we're on the 8th day, the 8th commandment of the Church of EDIF. This is an important one because it sounds like it's similar to another actual 10 commandment from Christianity, but it's not, and I think it's actually really important for me to explain the difference moving forward so that our followers don't think for a second that we share anything with other religions. So the 8th commandment is actually keep the Sabbath day holy, which if you know anything about Christianity, that's actually one of their core tenets too, their 10 commandments. So but we do not like them. We do not share anything with them because they believe that that's the 7th day of the week, the Sabbath day. But we, the Church of EDIF, claim that the Sabbath day that we should keep holy is February 13th, as this was the day in 1970 that Black Sabbath's first album was released. And you know EDIF loves Sabbath. I mean, I've talked about Black Sabbath so much on the show. In Christianity, the Sabbath is when God rested, but in EDIF, this is when the band Black Sabbath rested, because the album was mastered and released to the public. And it was out of their hands at that point, so they could kind of chill out. It was the people's album at that point, not theirs. So that's the significance there. So that's really a crucial difference. You might have just heard my voice crack. I was getting choked up thinking about it. And you might be noticing that February 13th, 2025 will be the 55th anniversary of that album. And we are going to have a big church fundraiser happening on that day. There's going to be a carnival in the EDIF church parking lot. As soon as we get property and a parking lot, there is going to be a big carnival fundraiser. There's going to be a dunk tank where you can dunk Ozzy, or a lookalike. He hasn't been responding to my emails, but a lookalike, that's very attainable. There's going to be Zeppelis. That has nothing to do with the Sabbath theme, but I love them. And a lot of coffee. The only thing we're going to be serving drink-wise is coffee, so no other liquids allowed. I'm actually thinking that maybe for the Church of EDIF, coffee is the only thing we can drink. No water, no wine. My blood is coffee sort of thing. So look out for that. That's going to be a big deal. All right, let's get to the comics. All right, Todd the Dinosaur time. I'm wondering if this will once again be more about him eating and less about him being a dinosaur. I get it, but I don't get why we go to that well instead of just harping on the fact that he's an ancient being. We do see him eating ice cream outside a parlor with his human friend and another man standing nearby. The store just says ice cream, but we'll get to that later. Todd says, while holding a cone of 2 scoops, "And after that, we went over to Alan's house." Then the other man overhears them, says, "Excuse me, but it's we went over to Alan's house, not we had went." Todd says, "You'll rule the day you ever corrected me, mister." He says, "And it's rue the day, not rule the day." Todd gets frustrated. Oh, eats the man. And his human friend says, "Spit him out, Todd." The man being eaten says, "Kinda ruing right now." It's pretty good. Didn't know cannibalism or dinosaur eating human was allowed in this world, and nobody seems to bat an eye. Every time we check in with Todd, he really gets more monstrous. I thought he was like a good dude. This is very peculiar. There's no rules in this world. Not only do dinosaurs exist, they're accepted by humans, but at the same time, they respond to that kindness by eating humans, and yet he hasn't been executed yet. So I find that odd. I find it odd that he made it all the way out of the ice cream parlor without eating his 2 scoops, because he's usually voracious. I do love that the ice cream parlor is just called ice cream. That's really cool. Its placement in the window is a little strange, just in a top right corner and not center with bigger lettering, but, people do businesses in different ways. I do think that guy deserves to be eaten, because if he is gonna, first of all, he's a nerd, and EDIF don't like no nerds. A nerdy solo man eating ice cream outside the parlor who's correcting a dinosaur on his line. Like, how lame do you have to be to not first be like, whoa, the dinosaur's talking. I'm gonna forgive any grammatical or spelling stuff. But no, he just jumps right in with the pride of it, of the corrections. So I don't really blame Todd for eating him. All right, let's move on to Mary Worth. I do really want to know how this conversation's shaping up and if we're gonna get any more answers to why the mom threw the daughter out. Just another recap. Wilbur has his daughter staying with him. She was supposed to stay with her mom. Her mom kicked her out for reasons unclear. I believe that the daughter was kind of in the wrong because she's been raised by 2 insane people. And now she's staying with one of said insane people, her dad, who buried his goldfish at sea recently and still isn't mentally over it. So that's a pretty good recap. Let's see where we're at now. We're still at Wilbur's apartment, still conversations going on. Wilbur says, "How was your flight?" Daughter says, "Uneventful, unlike my stay with mother." Oh my God, we get it. Headline, as Wilbur and Dawn catch up after her time in Connecticut. She says, "When mother asked me to leave before we planned, I was devastated. But I realized we didn't agree on a lot of things. Food, politics, men, money, almost everything." He says, "I'm sorry to hear that, Dawn. I didn't have a great time while you were away either, and I needed friends to help pick me up. I want you to know that I'm always here for you." She says, "Thanks, Dad. Let's do something fun this week. Sounds like a plan." And then they high five? Yeah, I think these two are the ones who are a little out of it. Because amongst so many other things, they keep harping on the mother conversation without giving specifics. They're also repeating themselves a lot. Because I think yesterday Wilbur was like, "What didn't you agree on? Food, politics, men?" And now she's talking as if she doesn't remember him just saying that. When she says, "We didn't agree on a lot of things. Food, politics, men," almost what's going on with these two? They're just circling around the real conversation, but not getting to the heart of what about food were they not agreeing with that got the mom so angry? What about politics? What about men? Money? What? Give us some answers. And if that wasn't key enough, the high five. What? You're having this emotional moment with your daughter, talking about you're grieving over a loss of your relationship and your goldfish, and you're trying to convince us that it really beat you up. Meanwhile, she's having a breakdown about the fractured relationship with her mom. And instead of a hug, they just high five. Come on. Why are we taking this relationship seriously? I've met people for an hour and a half who I go more sincere than a high five. What is fun to these people? I'm excited to see what they do that's fun. Because I bet the mom's actually fun. I bet the mom was like, let's do something fun. And the daughter was like, we don't agree on food, politics, men, money. The mom's like, whoa, I just want to like go mini golfing or something. What is fun to these two? I can't even. Probably like putting a helmet on and going for a walk. Oh my lord. Alright. Rex Morgan MD time. Yesterday was getting a little heated. We saw the bully returning home to his problematic father, who was threatening him, and did say he didn't care about Parker getting beat up and his son beating a child up. He just wishes his son didn't get caught, and now he's frustrated because all of this is on him, the responsibility. So let's see if we're still there today. Yes, we are. Okay. Interesting stuff. We do see the father talking to the bully again. He says, "Where have you been anyway?" The bully says, "I got scared after I heard Parker's head hit the floor. I really didn't mean to hurt him that bad. I've been hiding ever since." Headline: Randy the bully faces his intoxicated father. His dad says, "Your principal called looking for you. I figure the cops will probably get involved too." Randy the bully says, "I'm sorry, Dad. I didn't mean for things to go this far." He says, "That wasn't very smart, hitting that kid in front of witnesses. How'd you expect to get away with that with other kids looking on? So stupid." Then he says, "Dad, what am I gonna do? Are the cops gonna arrest me? I'm scared." And he starts tearing up. His dad says, "You're scared. I didn't raise you to be no crybaby." He says, "Please, Dad." Uh-oh. Then the dad raises his fist in the air, says, "Shut up. I should have never had no kids anyhow." Then he just goes, "Dad." Okay, first off, very interesting that the bully got scared after he heard Parker's head hit the floor. I would get that excuse if, like, he was Parker and he didn't want the fight and wasn't egging it on for over a week. But as the guy who continued to manifest this situation and was kind of hoping for it to arrive, I wouldn't really believe that you got scared when a head hit the floor. Like, this moment was in your mind. It was like the only thing you were craving in life, it seemed. So I don't really understand that. I also don't get, like, not understanding the consequences in general. Like, he's like, "Dad, are the cops gonna arrest me?" Was this like I don't think this was an isolated incident. I don't think this was the first time he's done something like this. So maybe it hadn't gotten that far in the past, but I would think fights had occurred in his life up to this point, right? And now he's scared? And man, the dad's really leaning into it. Like, not only is he gonna beat the kid up, he just makes a point to say, "I should have never had kids anyhow." It's like, all right, just one abuse at a time. Good God. I feel like we're gonna, it'd be an interesting way this goes. The kid gets beat up. I shouldn't have said, what's interesting, and then said a dad beats his kid up. But what could be interesting is, like, the bully ends up in the hospital too. And he ends up coincidentally getting the hospital bed next to Parker. And when they both can't move, they have to talk. And when physical violence is out of the question, they start chatting with each other. They realize they have more in common than they thought they did. Or at the very least, Parker understands more about the bully's lifestyle and what happened to him, forgives him a bit. They kind of come together in a positive way. Or the bully brings him to the dark side like Vader, and they become a duo of crime. That'd be really cool, actually, but I'm sure that's not how this is going to go. To, like, go after the bully's dad. That'd be pretty cool. All right, let me think of what to comment. All right, I'm kind of playing off what I said earlier, but, like, I'm going to have Randy say in my comment, I didn't mean to hurt him that bad. I just terrorized them for a week, threatening imminent doom and popping out like the boogeyman, but I swear I didn't mean to take it this far. Because, like, maybe he's just putting on a front for his dad, but you knew what you were doing, dude, even as a kid. Send. Alright. Time to wind down for this other Sabbath day. Not the one that we acknowledge, but some do. That's fine. Anyway, go off. Have a great end to your weekend. And remember, every day is funny.